I've read Haruki Murakami's book, just a few of them, so my impression is very one-sided, possibly, except I want to share because the sense I've developed is very deep, connecting to, if I may say so, the reason of my existence, the why we are here. I think his view, small stories here and there, and longer one possibly, seem to indicate that how we face despair, the difficulties in life, and yet still find a way going forward. So, also reading his words, including his speech at the Yale Ceremony, his background from the study of the literature, favorite jazz and music, and speeches, and the way he conducted his life, including his so much in favor of physical development through marathon, for example, for the purpose of clarity, developing the clarity, and have the disciplined life to focus what he liked the best about writing and connecting to his reasons of being. And the quick word that I can think about to capture from my point of view about him is that it's very much into what I should say Zen, or perhaps certain type of religious thinking, philosophy, if you may call it. All the religion, by definition, I think, is connected to the principal way of teaching this or living, and his novel point the psychological difficulties and hardship and how to overcome, and leaving people, readers, to be left after reading the book to reflect on what goes on in their lives. And he's coming from the same point that, as he says, that he writes books as if there's no written thought so much ahead of time, but the book right on its own. It almost seemed like Picasso's talking about his painting. He says, painting is stronger than me. It does what it wants to do through him. So he's the agent, and Murakami seemed to point the same thing. As much as Picasso says art is a lie to bring out the truth, Murakami also say that writing novel is a lie, just like a politician may lie to get to some of the message across, and that's how he portray his view. But using the words and ideas and the events of so many different ways, he can see how we may respond to those difficulties and still search for the future. So, as he says, he may not know what comes out of the book until he starts to write and the story starts to develop on its own. And it's very related to how we live moment to moment and trying to make a way how we move on in our life, doing the best we can and hopefully making the right decision and reaching out for the satisfactory or happy life that we may pursue. So that's the foundation that I see he is writing. And if there's a moment, because I've only read a few books, one is called Man Without Woman, and the other book is so long time ago. The other one was in Japanese, about the underground world. To me, the impression again is about the internal way of how we perceive life, each individually. So there are so many different ways to do it, as much as his various way of writing indicate, as far as I can tell. So it was very happy for me to find his book, because I've never thought that I write more books. I've never thought that I may read much book with much interest, but this opportunity of finding him was very interesting and happy for me to put me into the stage of how I live and putting myself in the shoes of those players in the novel, or reflecting the novel into my life and how I may be processing my life according to the hurdles and opportunities that exist. Probably my background in Zen and meditation has something to do with it. Also, I think whoever has gone through the difficulty and breaking through, awakening, as much as many of those masters, from the Picasso to investment masters like Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett, or sport masters and artists and poets and writers and even politicians, they all seem to be able to connect to the deep source, the energy source, deep being of our existence. And through that, based upon that, and connecting to that, they can communicate. And that's how I see him doing. And I like to keep on reading more of his books and hope I can come back and probably modify my view, if any, or reaffirm some of the ideas that I shared here for the sake of just a thought, my mindless thought for the time being. He's 70, I think. He's about my age. He went to the same school from Japan. He seemed like a very independent thinker, he seemed like a very interesting, independent character, yet now reaching out to the society to communicate his message. And I'm very happy to see many people around the world seem to resonate in the way he perceived the world and pose questions for each of us, for us to each make a good decision to live our life fully and happily. Thank you.